So friends, the Bloody Ties DLC has officially been delayed. Again, so Bloody Ties is the first paid DLC for Dying Light 2 Stay Human. Based off of the trailer and all the information that we know, it's going to be a 6-hour plus story, introduce an arena, lots of new characters were going to be introduced, loads of new weapons were going to make its way in. It was going to bring in a new location called the Carnage Hall, and it was also a story DLC that didn't add on to the game after the epilogue, rather it was just a side story that would take place while the main events are happening. And well, Sammy, it's been delayed again, bud. It seems like this DLC is just never gonna come out. You have to remember, it was supposed to come out in June, then it got delayed to September, then October, and now it's coming out November 10th, 2022. So we're at 3 delays and counting so far. And mind you, it comes out a day after one of the biggest games of this year coming out, God of War Ragnarok. Sammy, wanna go for a walk? Yeah, there you go. I have no issue whatsoever with the delay, but why that date? It just seems like they are shooting themselves in the foot. They are putting themselves against competitors that are just gonna blow them out of the water. It kind of happened with the initial release of Dying Light 2. Granted, the amount of copies that Dying Light 2 sold in February was bonkers, but it was ultimately overshadowed by Horizon Zero Dawn and the Chad success of Elden Ring. So it's actually both a good thing and a bad thing that this DLC got delayed. Obviously, starting off with the good reasons, they did say on Twitter, we have taken the decision to postpone the launch of Bloody Ties until November 10th to allow the team extra time to polish and squash bugs. They now have an extra month to go ahead and let this DLC bake in the oven even further, which honestly, I think this DLC desperately needed it. Even though we have seen no gameplay, barely any footage, I think a delay was needed, especially with how content has been in Dying Light 2 so far, especially recently. One good thing too is that it does mention that the developers will be answering questions on the Dying Light Discord this upcoming Friday, so tomorrow if you're watching this when it's first uploaded. So be sure to check that out. I'll link their Discord in the comments so you can go in there, ask a question. I've already been asking a ton, hoping to get a lot of answers about your most requested features such as crossplay, cross-gen, PvP modes, and much more. While I haven't made a video on Chapter 2 just yet, I'm saving that for my 8-month review. There's a lot I want to say about the chapter. They did a lot of good, a lot of bad, and a lot of really, really bad. Included in that really, really bad, it seems like every time Techland goes and just updates Dying Light 2, it breaks so much more. In my case, and I'll go more in depth with this later down the road, but I had a bug where I couldn't pick up any spears. Actually, scratch that. The bug was no spears spawned anywhere in the entire world. And at the time, one of the bounties for Chapter 2 was to go and kill enemies with spears. It was physically impossible for me to complete that bounty. And then taking it a step further, I just don't know what happened, but loot just like despawned. I would open up crates and there'd be nothing inside. I would loot backpacks, dead bodies, and I would get nothing. And that's only a sliver on some of the issues that are occurring. Just by going off their Twitter page, I see so many issues about game crashing, audio crashes, and tons more. What's also really bad is that they had a Chapter 2 launch event, and they usually tie some sort of global challenge for the community to participate. If they reach the goal, they'll go and get some sort of reward. The event at the time was to go and inspect hag tracks, and in my game and other people's games, it didn't work. You couldn't walk up to the tracks and search them. It just didn't allow you to do it. And when you have major things like this, I think it's a sign that things do need to be changed. Whether it's people aren't playing or the game is simply just bugged out, change does need to occur. And with Bloody Ties, they need to make sure that everything is working every single step of the way. Because honestly now that they delayed it again for a 3rd time, the expectation for this DLC is going to be so high. It has seamlessly become probably one of the most anticipated $10 DLCs out there on the market right now. For me, personally, I'm not mad or disappointed about the delay. It's just now they need to take their time and they need to make a satisfying experience that they can deliver on. If they go and do all of this and it's still broken on day 1, then what was the point of it? This right here is going to be a major turning point for the community. If it succeeds, then many players will stick around for the rest of the year and possibly beginning of next year. But if it falls flat and it's a lackluster DLC, it's going to be very difficult to get players to come back in the future. I mean, the player numbers and Steam charts, they speak for themselves. Dying Light 2 has half the player count on Steam when compared to the original. There is clearly a preference over the original at this time because of the content that it has to offer. And I mean, slowly over time, I do think Dying Light 2 will reach the success of the original, but it does have a long, bumpy road ahead. I'll be on that journey, but many of you may not be, and I totally understand that. We're essentially just gonna have to go and be patient for this. What do you guys think? How do you feel about this DLC getting delayed yet another time? A lot of you did go and leave your thoughts and concerns on a community poll that I did, but use the comment section as another space to go and air out what you believe in. Now it leads to the next question on what does the future of Dying Light 2 look like for the next 2 months? In October, we're supposed to have the DLC, but is there anything else coming in replacement of that? Like we said earlier, we did go and get Chapter 2 pretty recently. Is that content going to be enough to hold us over to the DLC? Spoiler alert, it's not. Team Moan on Twitter did say the next community update, I'd like to push for some Next community update, I'd like to push for some PC specific quality of life improvements. Any suggestions? Serious offers only. And on here so far, over 100 comments on feedback and suggestions on what to bring with the next community update. Some of the things that I did say was more key binding support, a stash increase. That one's pretty important on all platforms, not just PC, and so is loading time decrease as well. I said I would also love to see some proper settings to skip intro screens on setup, and also mod support for PC. Another huge quality of life improvement that I think needs to be in this game, and honestly every game out there on the market, is full key binding support for controllers. I personally think players should have full access to rebind all the keys that they want to on their controller. It, one, gives the player the freedom to play how they want to play, and two, it is a highly accessible feature, and when you go and make your game more accessible, it benefits all players. But one major quality of life improvement that I would love to see come to all platforms would be the option to reset the outposts and enemy controlled areas. This would allow for some more replayability. It's not the end-all solution for endgame content. It would sort of function in a way similar to the Outpost Master from Far Cry 5. You could go one step further, and basically every time you reset, it could add an extra level of difficulty and give you better rewards. Just some food for thought for you. It's just a very simple way to go and give you more opportunities to have fun. If you want to go there, fight some enemies, maybe get some achievements, some trophies, you can go and do that. But if you did go and opt in to do that reset, it would basically give you new environments to go back and fight more enemies. But when you go and opt in to do that reset, it will go and give you more environments that you're not typically used to fight enemies again. I mean, just simply, why the hell not? It would be a ton of fun. But friends, that is everything that I have to say about this new DLC. Tell me your thoughts down below. I'd be happy to hear them. If you want to go and see more content from me, click on these videos right here. See ya!